Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Wednesday the 4th of February.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Do customers care about the service that they're receiving? We find out.
More blues for Rayon Sport and the fans have their say.
And we've got an exciting breakfast for you to try.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you the latest lifestyle, sports, and news headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. And the Rise and Shine team are here with us in studio. It's the middle of the week, guys. How are you guys feeling? I hope good. And I want to know what is in the world of the
money.
Well, in business news, we find out why, you know, we're not going to be able to eat our favorite kaunga. I'm quite sad about it, so I'm going to tell you why that's going to happen.
Okay, all right. What's in the world of sports?
I took to the streets and Rayon Sports is in a tumble and wanted to find out what the fans really feel about the situation in the club.
Alan, I hope you have good news because it sounds like bad news and more bad news.
Right, well, it's also related to food, but I've got something special for all you guys out there, especially if you need to know a recipe for breakfast.
Okay, all right, looking forward to that.
Fidelis, you can't have me wanting kaunga in the morning.
I know.
And welcome back, by the way. Welcome back. We missed you.
Right, all that and more still to come, but first, Rise and Shine story of the day.
With Rwanda hoping to be a global hub for business, investment, and innovation, it has taken various measures like the Nayombi campaign to educate, sensitize, and promote customer care in the country. Since the launch of this campaign in 2012, it has so far reached over 1 million people and trained approximately 1,500 others. But do Rwandan people understand the importance of customer care? We went to find out.
As of 2010, Rwanda was ranked among the poorest in service delivery in East Africa. And for a country with an ambition to have a service-led economy, drastic measures were put in place to educate Rwandans about the importance of customer care in service delivery. Now, almost 3 years down the road, do Rwandan people get its importance?
Customer care ni ngombwa kandi biranakenewe kuko kuva igihe batangiye kuzana ibintu bya customer care so hari impinduka zagiye zihaba abantu bagenda bisanzura ikintu umuntu ashatse akakibonera igihe kubera customer care irakenewe kuko ni nziza bitewe n'akazi ukora kubasha gufata abakiriya neza nawe ni kubasha kubabona.
Customer care ni nziza cyane kwegera mu kazi kuko iyo umukiriya umweretse ko mwishimiye nawe aza gusanga asa nk'umuntu yisangaho nk'umuntu basanzwe baziranye. None iyo ashaka kugura ikintu akigura yakuyumvishemo akagitwara nawe yishimye n'umutima mwiza akaba yakoranya n'abandi bakiriya.
For most businesses like this local restaurant, however, having to wait for professional help on customer care has not been necessary as they have taken matters into their own hands, training the employees twice a week on customer care and its importance.
Nkatwe abayobozi twafashe ingamba tugerageza gukangurira abakozi dukoresha tubakoresha inama byibura kabiri mu cyumweru kugira ngo tubashe gukosora aho customer care itagenda n'utayisobanukiwe neza tukagerageza kumuba hafi ntabwo tubatererana tugerageza kubaba hafi kugira ngo tubakangurire tubashishikarize customer care igende neza.
Although significant progress has been made so far, most believe there is still room for improvement in service delivery.
Jewe ukuntu mbibona mu myaka iri imbere bose abakozi yaba bikorera ku giti cyabo cyangwa se ibigo bya leta bitandukanye bose ni bakomeza bakabibashishikariza nk'uko abayobozi bacu babidushishikariza natwe. Ndumva mu minsi iri imbere myaka iri imbere ibintu bizaba bimeze neza ko tureshaka kugira ngo tube intangarugero mu bandi muri iki gihugu cyacu cy'u Rwanda.
nibyo bitewe nyine n'umuntu yenda n'akazi akora cyangwa business ashobora kuba yarashinze. Ni byiza kuba waha customer care abakiriya bakugana kuko please ubaha customer care nziza nawe urababona, nawe niba warateganije kubona profit uzayibona. Mu gihe uzaba bafata nabi nawe ntabwo uzababona.
Ikintu nagira inama yo kugira ngo bagire customer care nziza nuko umukiriya yageza bakamwakira neza ntawe usuzuguye, yaba wambaye nabi ukomeze kose ukamwakira neza n'umutima mwiza ukamureba ko umwishimiye.
Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
Great report by Fidelis there.
Really great. Now, has customer service in Rwanda really improved? Or is something lacking in the industry? We hit the streets to find out.
Avuga ko ikibazo nyamukuru gikomeye hano iwacu ni imyumvire yo mu mutwe.
Biragaragara ko hari ahantu hamwe na hamwe aba customer care itari yakirwamo ingufu. Twebero niyo mpamvu twashyizeho iri shuri kugira ngo abana bamenye guteka, bamenye gusereva amafunguro kandi bakira abakiriya neza, bashobore gushyira mu bikorwa ya customer care bora batubwira buri munsi.
Mbere yari iri hasi cyane. Nakubwira ko aho aya mashuri aziye ya tekinike kuko mu masomo dutanga harimo na customer care, uko abana bacu bazakira baba abanyagihugu baba n'abavuye hanze, usanga uko bagenda basohoka hari icyo bagenda kwameliyora mu buzima buri hanze, mu maresitora, mu mahoteli, kuko aho hose tubarizwamo.
Navuga ko aribwo tugitangira urugendo rwo kugira ngo umuntu ajye yakira abakiriya, n'umuntu wari wese ubonye aza kwegereye kabone niyo atakugurira ikintu burya nawe ari umukiriya, kuko mu bantu benshi ni wowe yahisemo. Ugomba rero kugira uburyo bwiza bwo kumwakira. Nge mbona ko tukiri hasi ariko abantu barahagurutse. Ujya mu maserivisi ukabona ko hari ikintu kiri kugenda gihinduka, bitanga icyizere rero ko nidushyiramo ingufu ni ukuvuga ngo mu minsi iri imbere igihugu kizaba kiri kwakira abantu neza, abari mu gihugu ndetse n'abari hanze.
Customer care in Rwanda, I can't say it's something really good, but we are trying hard. The way it was 10 years ago, it's not the way it is right now. People are trying hard, but we are not satisfied 100%. In some of the organizations, it's really good, but in some others, they are still down on the floor.
Jewe ukuntu mbibona urebye muri iyi minsi rwose ubona byarahindutse cyane, kuko mu minsi ya mbere wakundaga nko kujya ahantu ntibakwiteho, ugasanga abantu bahugiye mu bindi aho kwita ku kazi bari gukora, ariko ukurikije muri iyi minsi ubona ibintu byarahindutse rwose, bagenda bakira abantu neza buhoro buhoro, ubona ko abantu bagenda babijujukira bakamenya icyo barimo barakora n'icyo bashaka kugeraho.
And joining us in studio now is Jackie Semakula from Aila Institute. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you very much.
Now, the first thing I want to know, I remember not too long ago when you will actually go to restaurants and then you're sitting there for like 5-10 minutes before someone comes and talks to you and asks you what you want. It took forever for that to actually change, just that. So how far have we come and how much do we still have to go to change customer care culture in Rwanda?
I think we are on progress. Right now we are on the step 2. We are moving not very fast, but we're on target, we're on average, because all the institution and the government itself is working towards improving on the service delivery, mainly that Rwanda is growing in terms of hospitality through tourism. So I believe that there has been a tremendous improvement compared. If I look back in 2009 to where we are today, you can see that people are really trying to get there. We are not perfect, we are not there yet, but the process is still ongoing. And it is included in institutions, it has been put into curriculums, and in hotels people have come up with their own golden rules. So really we are on target, we are on track. All we need is to continue pushing and reminding people of the importance and how it really contributes to the country's growth.
So as we know, Aila teaches customer care, among other things, yes, to people, or trains people rather, in customer care. How has that program been going?
Well, the program is going smoothly. We have been on the program for 5 years right now, and we have graduated 2 classes so far. So we had a class of 2012, and we had a class recently of 2013. And we don't only do customer service, we do it hospitality. And hospitality is the major. Like, it has all the categories. We have front office management, we have food and beverages, we have tourism. So it covers the whole package compared to the, the whole setup of what hospitality is. And then when we enroll into our services, we have also, they have course units where they have to go through the whole program like any other university. But then we have majors where they have time to work in groups. And also remember that sometimes it's about remembering that you need to understand how other people are feeling in order for you to give them service. And we take them through classes which we call emotional intelligence, understanding other people's feeling, managing people with hearts, and also being able to actually acknowledge what the customer needs before he gets to speak. So being there physically, emotionally, and also remembering whether you're in a good mood or not, customer comes first. So this is a program we take them through. They have critical time for discussing together, share content. They also have time to go back home and ask somebody about what is happening, like self-reflect. Where are we right now? What does the content require of me? And they also have time to go into the industry, which we call internship. So we send them into the same industries where we're training them to be better in service. And then hotels, tourism companies, they go take them on board, like Nyungwe, Forest Road, Serena Hotel. They take them through that internship period of 2 months, and that is during our peak season. So they are adding what they have learned in Aila and practicing it on a day-to-day basis to see what takes place in an organization. Does it relate to what I really need? Because we give them exactly what is in the industry, how to be able to understand what a customer needs, listen very carefully, like pay attention, and also give feedback, which we call construction criticism. People don't like to receive feedback. But with our students, we train them to be ready. You have to make sure that you give people feedback on a timely, response, and also to act upon it. There is also, we train them into keeping like a database, like knowing these are my customers, and then they go through the IT classes where if I'm in the industry and I have these clients, this is how I need to treat this client. Are these my top-notch customers, or these are walk-in customers? Is this someone who just walked in today? So we have everything set. It's not only targeting that this is hotel, this is Serena, it is a general aspect of what hospitality stands for. And it's not stopping. It's not only in class. It even takes place on campus. So the students learn how to respond with each other.
Like a practical
setup, how you talk to each other, how you understand how somebody is feeling in the morning when you come and your friend is doing well. So it is something that needs to be ongoing. And also go home.
Right.
Take the message home. Teach somebody else. How do you get to know that people at home are well?
The students that go for the internships that you mentioned, do they get feedback?
They do, because we have...
I mean, do you get feedback as Aila as to how they're doing? Is it normally good, or...?
We always get, I will not say 100%, we get 95% because all our customers, our partners, I won't call them customers, they're giving us good feedback, and they keep on telling us, Aila, continue doing what you're doing. We embrace feedback. That is one criteria that we do.
And that's something that's definitely needed.
Right, and it was going to lead to my next question, because culturally, a Rwandan as a child is told not gusanuka, which is a way of not bothering people, not speaking too much.
Yes.
But then that translates later on in, you seeing a customer, you're now willing to actually go with a menu and ask them, would you like this, would you want to try this, and things like that. So rural Rwanda versus urban Rwanda. In maybe urban Rwanda, I think it's going to change quite fast, but is it the same for rural Rwanda?
Well, in terms of knowledge, we talk about the quantitative part. We cannot measure knowledge, but what can we do? Well, Rwanda, we know it as a cultural country where people are very polite and very humble and brought up in a way that, it's very difficult to speak back to people. But that is what is out there. But even when I go to the rural area and I'm looking for something, I'll ask somebody, they'll give me direction. It is there. But how do we need to find it? I think we need to go down there and educate people more. Of course, they've not been to school, but give them the practical aspects. How do you sell? How do you get back to a customer? How do you know the customer is appreciating the service you're rendering to them? How will they know if you're not educating them? Even if they've not been to school, there are practical setups where you have like a role play, which we still give to our students, where you act as the customer and I am the client. And if you're in this situation, so it's the same in the rural area. The people who are in the rural are the ones who are moving to town.
So they just need the training.
They need a training. They need orientation, because these people are in agriculture.
It's a
transition phase that can move from here to the city. But if we measure only on the city, then we are leaving the other side.
Absolutely. So do you think, leaving training aside, because I think there could be some other aspects as to why customer service isn't exactly where it needs to be right now. And I always think one of the reasons, you talked about your experience, an experience that I always see in restaurants is you have some servers who are just not good at their job, right?
Yeah.
And you complain or you give feedback to the restaurants, but you still go back time and time again and you see them. I think employers don't really fire there's no three-strike system here.
It's not a cultural thing.
Yeah, it's not cultural, but also there are strict laws and rules protecting employees.
That should be followed. Yeah, that's
right. So that's my question to you. Do you think that's one of the reasons why? Because I know if I'm a bad server and I'm not going to lose my job anyway, why should I even bother to improve?
I think that could be one of the reasons. It could be one of those, but there could be also another. One of the other reasons that we have is that all employers are supposed to have a manifest of, employers' labor laws. They have to have contracts, and they work by these. And also they're supposed to be having key performance indicators, measures, where is this person performing well? Annually, half a year, do you check on these people? So these people who are offering bad service, it's like me, I know my boss will not do anything to me because they don't have the right processes and procedures in place. But according to the law, it says this organization is supposed to run like this. People are supposed to work like this. And if you're not offering a good service, you, the management, you're supposed to put policies in place where you need to evaluate your workers and know, is so-and-so doing ABCD? And how often do you check? Right. And do you have client feedback put in place? Because normally you're supposed to come up with a small card where you can put it on a client's table to give you feedback on somebody who served you today. Where do you put that? Why aren't we doing that?
Well, just to piggyback on what Makeda is saying, there's two places I've been lately. We won't name them, obviously. And there's a server that's been amazing at those two places. He has two shifts, basically. So he has a morning shift and an evening shift. Yeah. But he's really good wherever you are. And he makes you want to go back because you feel like this is how it should be all over the place, right? Yeah. So I feel that can actually happen. I just feel it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't know why.
It will, but there is also what we call passion for work, and there is also motivation for work.
Yes, incentives.
What drives you every day? What drives you to go to that job every day? Is it the customers? Is it the service you offer? Do you appreciate your customers?
Is it how straight the bosses are, like Makeda was saying? There's strikes and then there's guidelines you have to follow. Yeah. And you know that if you don't abide by them, then you might be let go.
Do you think that tipping would help, I don't know, service in Rwanda? Because I noticed that in other parts of the world, tipping is actually mandatory. You have to give a certain percentage. Yeah. But here, you can tip or you cannot tip. And most of the time, people don't really tip. Now, do you think that if we try to instill in people, tip your server if they give you good service, do you think this could change customer service? Well,
there is a plus and a negative on that aspect. Like if you initiate this tipping, people will be working for the tip. They'll forget the service. There is what we call a service. Did you meet the customer's need?
They'll serve whoever is tipping.
Are you just running to make sure that somebody gets a service and I get a tip? That is something that is in the Western world. Well, it is good to copy. But Rwandan here where we are today, I think we just need to remind our clients and our employees on why they are on job, why this job is important to them, and why is it important to my customers, Absolutely. And how do I keep my customers best, and also putting policies in place. I still believe if you're to fire somebody for not doing their job, there has to be reasons.
Absolutely,
and not only mouth, but written, as in your supervisor evaluated you here and you did not improve, and we gave you another 6 months. Towards the end of the year, you did not do well. People will know how serious this is because it is tarnishing the image, the brand.
Absolutely. But you know what? Luckily, places like Aila, different things are being set up. Yeah. Jackie, thank you so much for coming and telling us a little bit about this, shining some light on what's being done about customer care.
Thank you
I don't know about you, but I care about customer care.
Oh, it's important. Oh, all right. Okay. I see what you're doing.
Okay.
I do like that. Jackie. And also, just to encourage people out there to come. We are registering. People should come. Vacancies are getting filled up and get to feel what we're doing.
Absolutely.
She's good.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very much, guys.
You are watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's get to today's money, the business news. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. Experts have advised the government and other stakeholders to come up with innovative strategies to strengthen women cooperatives by increasing their access to finance. Officials said the move would help reduce poverty levels as women would be educated and linked to financial institutions so they can save and borrow money to fund income-generating activities. Professional services firm PricewaterhouseCoopers will next month launch a business school which will support the government's efforts to build the capacity of Rwandans in the public and private sector. The firm, which has business schools in South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Mauritius, and Kenya, targets monitoring, evaluation, and taxation professionals and plans to provide trainees with knowledge on Rwanda's working environment and offer tax, assurance, and advisory solutions to unique business challenges. And the Ministry of Trade and Industry has announced that Rwanda is a net importer of maize as its annual production was very low compared to the current domestic demand. This was mentioned during the maize value chain meeting, which brought together stakeholders both public and private with an aim to assess the readiness of the market to absorb projects' higher levels of maize production in 2015. Officials say Rwanda is not able to export grain to neighboring countries and for a while due to the low production rates in the country. You're up to date today's business headlines. Sports news coming up next in just a minute with Aila Institute.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news. I'm Aila Institute. Starting on a sad note, former APR and Rayon Sports head coach Jean-Marie Ntagwabira passed away yesterday at the Rwanda Military Hospital in Kanombe after a long illness. Nagwabira was the technical director of Ramagana-based side Sunrise Football Club, who are newcomers in the top flight league. The tactician played for Burundian giants Vitalo O before returning to Rwanda in 1990 to participate in the liberation struggle. He rose to the rank of captain before continuing his playing career in Rwanda, skippering APR FC before retiring and going into coaching. Nagwabira also coached the now defunct Atraco Football Club and SC Kiyovu, and was assistant coach of the national football team under Djukovic Watamir in 2004 when Rwanda made its debut appearance to the Africa Cup of Nations. He won 2 league titles with APR and 1 with Atraco in 2008. May his soul rest in peace. Moving on to volleyball, the Rwanda Volleyball Federation has announced a 1 billion francs budget needed for it to carry out its operations for the 2015 season. Of the 1 billion Rwandan francs, 78.5 million will be used to organize national and club competitions, while 10 million francs will be used for administrative costs. 52.1 million will be spent on training coaches as well as talent detection at the grassroots, with a further 50 million reserved for other development activities. 86.6 will go to beach volleyball. The federation will also spend a whopping 62.6 million on other expenses like advertising and promotion. 80% of the budget is funded by the Ministry of Sports and Culture, with the rest solicited from sponsors. The first semi-final of the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations in Equatorial Guinea is set to be a battle of the coaches, as both Ivory Coast coach Hervé Renard and Congolese tactician Claude Leroy are highly rated on the African continent. The teams have met thrice before in the tournament, with a win apiece for each team, with 1 draw, although the Elephants are ranked higher than their Congolese counterparts in the current FIFA rankings. The teams last met in October last year in back-to-back clashes that saw Ivory Coast win 2-1 in Abidjan, while Democratic Republic of Congo were 4-3 victors in Kinshasa. And finally, Rayon Sports Football Club look like a team in constant decline this season after a combination of poor results, selling of their best players, and the recent firing of their tactician, Andy Manglowe Futira. I caught up with fans of the Blues to find out what they feel about the situation in the Nyanza-based camp. Just a few months into what Rayon Sports Football Club fans thought would be the turning point for their club, fans of the flamboyant Blues were greeted with the headlines that newly appointed coach Andy Manglowe Futira has been fired. 9 matches into his second reign in Rwandan football, the flashy Congolese tactician has not won a single match in 9 fixtures with the Blues, but according to some fans, the club's troubles do not only lie with the tactician.
ari hagati ari abakinnyi ari komite nuvuga ngo nicyo kibura ku kipe iruzo ko niba ujya ku kibuga ubona ko ikipe ikina ariko ikibazo nuvuga ngo kirimo ndani ntabwo ikibazo kiri ku kintu kibazo bagomba guhuza ikipe igahuza gusa ikugesha umutima hamwe icyo ikipe igura
siporo nk'umufana wayo umaze imyaka itari mike nyifana tubona ibibazo biri mu bakinnyi ari ikibazo gishobora kuba gituruka mu buyobozi ko burya iyo umukinnyi yabashije kubona abafana akabasha kubona n'inkunga ituruka mu bafana akabasha kubona umushahara we mu gihe gikwiriye abasha kwiyumvamo icyizere cy'uko abasha gukinira ikipe kandi akayikina n'umutima we wose akumva ari ibintu akora abikunze.
Na Rayon Sport ifitemo nk'ibibazo akenshi ubona ari ukudakorana neza hagati y'ubuyobozi ari abakinnyi abakinnyi ubona baritakarije icyizere cy'uko ubona nyine nta kintu bakina ubona batazi ibyo barimo, ariko mbona nanone n'abafana bayo ntabwo bayijya inyuma cyane bayishyigikire ari ubushobozi bwabo bafite bakagombye kugira icyo bakora kugira ngo ikipe igera.
Rayon Sport urabona imaze imikino 10 idatsinda, urabona ko ni ikibazo gikomeye cyane ikipe ikomeye ifite n'abafana benshi.
But what changes can be taken to turn around the Blues season?
Abayobozi bamwe badakora neza bemeye nko kwegura akaza abandi babishoboye banayikunda bafite n'ubushake bayitangira natwe twajya
ngombwa bagahuza gusa bakumvikana ubwabo, ariko bibaye ko harimo abo batumvikana kurumva nyine agatotsi iyo abantu babana ari babiri umwe ashobora kwica bimwe ariko iyo badahuje buryo nyine ntago bishobora kugenda.
Impamvu tubivuga gutyo urabona kuri nta makati Eugene no muyobozi ari muri komite ya Rayon Sport nta musaruro ari kuduha umwanya wo kurokita abana bazima baje ngo batugirire inyungu batwereke umusaruro nta mwanya aba yagezeho gushyiramo ubushake ngo ajye kuzana abana barokirite ayandi makipe ahita bijyanira ubwo urumva ko uburangare nk'ubwo ngubwo rero utari bwo tuba dukurikiye twebwe.
Lying fourth in the league midway the season, is all hope for silverware lost?
Birashoboka rwose kubera yuko impamvu mubwiye ko bishoboka burya mu kibuga iyi minota 90 itararangira igihe cyo cyose ikipe ishobora kwigirira icyizere ko hari ikintu ishobora gukora.
Icyo tugomba gushyira ingufu zacu mu bushake bwacu n'ubushobozi bwacu twebwe no gushyigikira ikipe yacu tukayijya inyuma ntitunayive ko turetse natwe ubwo ushobora kwanga Rayon Sport wanze Rayon Sport Imana ntiyakwemera icyamye nuko tugomba gukunda umubyeyi wacu.
Birashoboka cyane turabyizeye ko izatsinda ibakosora ako kantu.
3 coaches in 2014 and already looking for their second in 2015, a turnaround for the Blues may take longer than such loyal fans would expect. Arnold, Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
All right, Arnold, so Rayon Sport, it's gotten really bad. I mean, you tell me, but if I remember correctly, this is their second coaching change in 3 months, and the third in, what, a year, 2? What's happening?
If you go to last year and this year, then they are fourth in a space of about, 14 months, which is so unhealthy for a club of Rayon Sports stature. Rayon Sports has the biggest fan base in Rwandan football. Right. And, you know, with the recent fines, they have a lot of financial troubles. I think they're a club who are currently facing, their problems are administrative, because there's no way you're going to lose out your best players in Abuba, being sold to Goma here, and then you miss out on buying Medi Kagere, who was returning back to Rwanda. Rayon Sports are a team in what you would call shambles. As the fans, when I was talking to the fans all see that the problem is actually not the players. Players have gone a long time without being paid, about 3 months. That's why some have skipped ship. I think Rayon Sports' problem is administrative. And that's where they need to go back to the drawing board and maybe hold fresh elections, bring in new blood. Morale has been lost. Rayon Sports games used to have hundreds of people. Right now, they can hardly attract about 400, 500 fans, which is a club that used to get most of its money from the fans. Fans used to dip in from their own pockets to buy and pay players, and they're not doing that anymore. The irony, we are both dressed in blue like the Blues.
It really feels bad, because when you think about it, in Rwanda, when you think football, you think Rayon Sport. I mean, they have the biggest, the most fans. Yeah. They've had the biggest impact on football here. Yeah. Absolutely. So even people coming from abroad, when they come to Rwanda and you think football, first thing that comes to their mind is Rayon Sport. Is Rayon Sports.
And yeah, most of those fans, I was in a very strong Rayon Sports stronghold in Nyamirambo, right. Which is big.
That's Kigali's Nyanza.
Yeah, Kigali's Nyanza. And most of the fans are disappointed. Some of them are wondering why the team has to go back and be best in Nyanza. Right. It should be best in Kigali. But again, there you could understand the administrators moving the team to Nyanza because that's its home. Yeah, but the issue of living beyond their own means, you know, why do you need to put a coach on a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 paycheck per month when you can't afford to pay your own players who need only about $1,000? Right. I think the administrators need to rethink that and find new strategies of propelling Rayon Sport back to its glorious heights.
I think Rwanda is the only place when you don't have a coach of like Jose Mourinho's stature, where the coach is making that much more money than the players. That rarely happens unless it's that stature.
I think it's only in Rwanda in Africa.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. So now, before we move on to the African Cup of Nations, we have to mention this. Jean-Marie Ntagwabira passed away. It's been all over the news. I mean, radio, TVs, you just turn it on. That's all everybody's talking about. Now, if you remember football back in the days in Burundi, Vitalo, he was a great player, a great skipper. Yeah. Then when, after the liberation fight, which he participated in, he moves here, plays for APR. I remember in the 90s, that was the guy, you did not want to cross him.
This is a person who captained the Rwanda national team. Right. He captained Vitalo, or he captained APR. These are two giants in the Central East African region when it comes to football. That shows you the quality this gentleman had. But again, being that assistant coach that led Rwanda to its debut African Cup of Nations
2004
in Tunisia, you know, that was a very that team. He was that team that was made of the likes of Eric, the current coach of ASC Kigali,
Jimmy Gatete,
Olivier Karekezi. Right. He is the person who groomed these people. I think he's going to be a great loss to Rwandan football.
So young too.
Yeah, and when you look at, we've just celebrated Heroes Day. This, I think, he is going to be put, next year he's going to be celebrated as one of the heroes, because he didn't only help liberate Rwanda as part of the RPF in 1990-94, but he also...
He's an integral part of Rwandan football
and culture,
coming to the forefront of African...
Coaching he was the first coach to coach the two biggest rivals in Rwandan football, APR and Rayon Sport. It was unheard of. He led another team, Atraco, to the championship in 2008.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a man...
huge loss.
His coaching talent was unmatched in Rwanda, and it's a great loss for Rwandan football.
All right, now before we move on, African Cup of Nations, this is a match I cannot miss, because I used to be a huge Ivory Coast fan, but then again, I have a Congolese...
You have your roots in Congo.
I have,
but let me ask you a question, Reg. What's your take? DR Congo versus Ivory Coast.
My heart, is... I'm behind Congo on this one, but obviously, when you look at the quality of the players on the field, I mean, Dieu merci Mbukani is unbelievable. He's been a star in this African Cup of Nations. But when you have players of Yaya Touré's stature, when you have...
But Yaya Touré isn't,
he isn't, but just knowing that he's on the field and he's quadruple, 3 times African Player of the Year. When you think about having him on the field, and then it's not just him. I mean, it's that whole generation minus
Wilfred Bonny,
minus Didier Drogba, right?
Yeah, so everyone is around.
It's tough. The only good thing I think for Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, is that they have Claude Leroy. He has been a great coach for Africa. I mean, he's coached Cameroon back in the days when they had Roger Mila and Cyril Makanaki, Emmanuel Koundé, all these great players. And he led them to the forefront of Africa's football and, exposed them to the world. So he's going to do a great job. He's a great tactician, but Ivory Coast?
Ivory Coast for
That's
you?
a tough one. If the Leopards win that one.
Have you Renard at Ivory Coast is equally a good coach. You remember what he did with Zambia?
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, with Zambia leading them to African Cup of Nations. I think... this match is, to me, both semi-finals fixtures are too close to call. But if my heart is with Ivory Coast, but DR Congo will shake it. And with that famous celebration of
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that. That one has been all over the place.
Yeah,
YouTube.
I think I may lean towards the underdog. We know Ivory Coast, whenever it comes into a game as favorites, they never live up to the billing.
They don't deliver. It's been hard.
Yeah, they don't deliver. And you saw that game they won against Algeria. They came into the game as underdogs, because everyone in Algeria are ranked 16th in the world.
Exactly.
Everyone expects Algeria to have watched Cameroon. But there is a way to control that midfield over Bentaleb, which I didn't expect.
Right.
And Ivory Coast produced the best result I've ever seen. That's the best match they've ever played at the Africa Cup of Nations in the past 3-4 tournaments. They still have their weakness, which is the defense. Kolo Touré.
He's not the Kolo Touré he once was.
He has never been a Kolo Touré. People think he is. But he's a Liverpool man, but I have to accept something.
Yes.
And then the keeper. They've always had a weakness of a goal. Goalkeeping has always been a problem to Ivory Coast.
Now, believe it or not, when they won the African Cup of Nations in '92, they had the #1 goalkeeper in Africa, Alain Guamene. Google him. That's unbelievable.
Why are you telling me to Google him?
Thank you very much, Argo. You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Makeda and I will be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Let's take a look now at news-making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The classification of all Rwandans, depending on their economic standing, has been launched at the grassroots level across the country. The revised Ubudehe, as it is locally known, comprises of 4 categories, named in their numbers instead of calling people names, that describe their economic standing, as was the case in previous classification. Officials say the ranking, based on people's perceptions in the villages, was needed because it gives crucial information needed for planning. The new categories were designed by officials at the local administrative entities development agency and handed to the Ministry of Local Government.
Over 80 liters of illicit brew, commonly known as kanyanga, has been destroyed in Bugesera district following operations by police to rid the country of the hazardous product. The products were discovered in 3 homes, where police also seized the equipment used in the manufacture of the illicit brew, which is known to have harmful effects on those who consume it. Authorities commended the residents in the area for providing timely information and also called on the public to avoid the use and production of such dangerous products.
Rwanda and Ethiopia have been singled out as leaders in embracing production at high-quality beans among 30 countries. Rwanda produces an average of 1.2 tons per hectare, up from about 0.5 in 2009, thanks to embracing research and new varieties that have led to increased production. Ethiopia stands at 1.5 tons per hectare. Extension program for the bean crop, just like other crops, is part of supporting the agriculture sector that employs over 80% of the population.
And in international news, a female suicide bomber blew herself up in Nigeria, Gombe City, minutes after President Goodluck Jonathan left a campaign rally there. At least one person was killed and 18 others injured in the blast. President Jonathan is standing for re-election on February 14th against former military ruler Muhammadu Buhari. Militant Islamist group Boko Haram has stepped up its attacks in the run-up to the contest. Explosions have also ripped through court buildings in 3 towns in the oil-rich southern Nigeria in what police called as coordinated attacks. Okay, lots more still to come. Lifestyle is up next, and a look at what's hot right now in our daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Lifestyle now. Alan, what do you have for us?
Well, we've got a nice special treat, a breakfast treat, actually.
Yum, yum! We've heard it time and time again that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And studies have shown that a well-balanced breakfast can not only assist in weight loss and boost energy, but it can also enhance your mood and productivity. So why do so many of us still neglect this essential part of our morning routine? Replacing your breakfast with a cup of coffee or a glass of juice is simply unacceptable. And Rise and Shine wants better for you. So whether you don't have the motivation or to make that meal, or you simply just want to change from the same old oatmeal or omelette breakfast, we have a recipe for you. Check it out. It's the most important meal of the day, but still so many of us neglect this essential part of our daily routine. That needs to change. So I challenge Milkoline chef Gasore to share with us an exciting and tasty breakfast using the same local produce many of us already have in our kitchens. But first, we went shopping.
iyo tuza mu isoko guhaha dutekereza kuri karite y'ikiribwa turimo tugura kuko iyo urebye mu isoko hano urabona harimo ibiribwa byinshi kandi bitandukanye ibiciro bitewe na karite y'ikiribwa ugiye kugura. Urugero iyi avocado ushobora gusanga ifite igiciro cyo hasi bitewe na karite y'iyi avocado. Niyo mpamvu iyo ugiye kugura ugomba kugira amahitamo ukajya ku masitandi menshi atandukanye y'abacuruzi kugira ngo ubashe guhitamo ikiribwa kiri kuri standard na karite.
Now that we're back from shopping, it's time to get cooking. And I know it's easy to neglect breakfast, but after this recipe, I don't think you're going to want to anymore.
Rwandan style F Benedict. Lemon, spinach, avocado, eggs, roast bread, beef, salt, pepper, white vinegar.
classic Eggs Benedict with a Rwandan twist. So yummy. Makeda Mahario, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
All right, that was scrumptious.
That was good, right?
That was really good. And first of all, why didn't we see you eat it?
Yeah, you know what? Some past reports that I've done, every time I watch after, I'm thinking, geez, you look like a pig. Why are you?
No, you know what? I totally get you. I've been in that situation, so okay, good. I understand. But
this time I decided to skip it.
I'm sad you didn't bring me one, though.
You know what? So I tried to bring some.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is not a kind of meal that you can really transport very easily.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to eat it, but it's so good.
No, it looks really good, but isn't it a bit too complicated for the average person?
No.
No?
No. If he can do it, why can't anyone else? And we saw all of the steps. I mean, I think it's just because there's a lot of steps, and people are only used to, like you were saying during the video, you know, you're used to your Spanish omelet or your especial or whatever it is. But if you can take the time to cook French fries and put it in an omelet, you can do this. Come on.
No, you know what? I'll make sure I'll watch it again on YouTube and, you know, take notes and see how I can do it.
Exactly.
No, it looks really good, and I think, you know, especially if you're entertaining or you just, you know, want something different.
It's special. It looks fancy, right?
Yeah, it looks
if
very
anyone tries this recipe, take the photo and Instagram it to us or tweet us or whatever it is. I would love to see that, man.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can give out a prize for it.
Maybe we could.
You're the prize giver. You can think about it.
I'll think about that.
Oh, for sure. I'm going to post my photo. I'm definitely going to try it.
Absolutely. It looks really good. Just next time, please remember us.
I will. No worries.
All right. Thanks so much, Makeda.
Thank you, too.
All right. Coming up next is Hot Topics, so stay tuned. Welcome back. It's that Hot Topics time again. As always, you can join in on the debates through our social media, whether on Facebook or on Twitter. Let's get into our first hot topic, guys. So you guys have heard of Iwawa, which is a youth rehabilitation center. You know, it's one that's been there for years, but for the first time, they're actually now considering having a female Iwawa, let's call it Iwawa. Now, one of the spokespersons for the Ministry of Youth, or Aila ICT, said that part of the reason why they hadn't had one before for females was that they needed to find a plot or a land where they could have this. And they did find one. It's going to be in Muhanga in Bugesera. So they found the plot, and that's where they're going to have it. Now, what I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think about this? Because as far as the Iwawa goes for men, there's been a lot of positive stories, sometimes some controversy, but I feel like in general, most of it has been positive. So what do you guys think about now being a female?
One of the greatest things to ever happen to this country. I mean, if you were in Rwanda in the 90s and saw how many of what we used to call Maibobos were in the city, and now that has been basically erased. There's still a few dark spots here and there, but for the most part, the problem has been taken care of. So,
but that's because of many different things, not only because of the rehabilitation.
No, I'm just saying that was one of the parts, because they used to like embark a lot of them and bring them to Iwawa, and they come out of it as real men with real life goals and stuff. So.
You know, and this is what I learned actually. So when they take them there, normally they train them and teach them different skills, technical skills mostly, so that even when they leave the Iwawa, they don't have to go back to the streets and beg. So when they actually leave the Iwawa, they'll go out for jobs or start their own cooperatives, something like that. So this way they make money. I think it's a great initiative they do for women. It's even better. Maybe we'll see less, you know, because like you say, there's less street kids on the street right now, but there's still a big number of women whom we see with kids on the street every day begging. Maybe that will come down too, this because they'll teach them skills like maybe sewing that they can make money out of. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, but that brings me to a question which may be a little controversial. Do these people need to be forced to be taken there? Because if you talk about women and females and ladies on the streets begging, maybe there's a reason they're begging, they're not able to take care of their children. Now when you take this person to a rehabilitation...
Like a mother, for example.
Yeah, you are basically forcing her to go there, because I don't think she will want to voluntarily go there. Isn't that an abuse of human rights itself?
But I mean, you could say that in that angle, but think of it in this sense. If they take them there and teach them these skills, when they take them there, they feed them, they give them where to live, you know? And if you come out of there and they help you get, you know, like I say, they start cooperatives, and we see all of very many cooperatives setting up every day. Isn't that better than being on the streets where you're not guaranteed that someone will give you money? But when you're in this cooperative, you're guaranteed that every end of the month you're making this amount of money. I just feel like it's a mindset that
one thing
people
we can say is that are the results there? Yes. Now, as the way of approaching the whole thing ideal, what is? What is ideal?
I'm interested in talking to someone who's actually gone to Iwawa and graduated, and I think that would be someone who would probably be.
You should have someone on the show. Rise and shine. Can we have someone from Iwawa?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Let us know. Okay, what else do you have?
Yeah, absolutely. Right on. Okay, I don't know what else to add.
I thought you were going to add something.
No, you know what? She took it out of my mouth. Right. All right, on to the next hot topic. He briefly mentioned it yesterday, actually, but in regards to agriculture. But so you guys know Howard G. Buffett, who is the son of Warren Buffett, the second richest man in the world. Yes. So they have a foundation. Actually, the foundation is called Howard G. Buffett Foundation. And basically what they're going to be doing is they're going to be donating, well, not donating, they're going to be funding up to $500 million in support of agriculture development in Rwanda. Now, what he does is he goes looking out for because he's actually a farmer. Howard is a farmer himself, and he's trying to see how he can basically help boost the farming industry, whether it's irrigation, whether it's even, for example, with drought, the issue of drought, which is something that a lot of farmers
his foundation deals with working on. He has a belief that hunger can be Africa can feed itself. That Africa has enough soils, fertile soils, to feed itself. And one of what his biggest philanthropy ideas is the world is to beat hunger. You know, he has an aim of beating hunger by around 2030, which is
soon.
Yeah, it's a long time for the whole world to beat hunger by 2030. But he has laid Rwanda as what you would call a pilot project for Africa, and he wants to help boost the different types of soils. He says each country has a different types of soil, you know, we learn those things, loam soil, clay soil, and yeah, those kind of, and he says the Rwandan soils are fertile enough for different crop yields, which is kind of contradictory to what we got from Minagri, which was saying our soils are not yet fertile enough. So I think he will help put more yields in the soil.
Right. Anything for, you know, food production and being self-reliant, that's something
and we need it now,
Absolutely.
especially for sure. You know.
And I must mention part of the reason why he actually picked Rwanda is because of the economic growth as well as the good governance. So big up to Rwanda for that.
Big up, big up.
All right, on to the next hot topic. Now this one is for all you people who are on WhatsApp. I'm sure all of you have WhatsApp on your phone. So you don't?
No.
What is that? I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right, so WhatsApp is coming up with a voice call. Basically, you're going to be able to call through WhatsApp. You know how, like, if you have the application, the phone application like Viber or FaceTime, all those which you can actually call. Well, now WhatsApp is finally coming on board with the voice call, where this is actually a prototype showing you how it's going to work. So you'll be able to actually dial and call people through WhatsApp.
I wonder how much data this is going to use.
No, actually, from what they're saying that you're not going to be using any bandwidth. You can actually call. Now, I don't know exactly the technical.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's what they always say.
I just have one thing to say. If that is true, how are phone companies
going to
through the data?
Exactly.
Through the data that it uses.
Yeah, but I mean.
But WhatsApp has been a revolution to everything.
For sure. So why even bother to call anyone? Just WhatsApp them.
Because I feel like they always start with saying it's going to be free of charge, and then before you know it, you're checking your balance and nada. Zero facts. Like I thought this was
or 0.02, my favorite.
Right.
What am I supposed to do with that too?
Right. So I have to mention it's coming out with a new version of WhatsApp. Someone is clearly, you know, the struggle is real. Seriously. But you know, I guess we have to wait and see. It's supposed to come out this year, and yeah, then you'll be able to call or not on WhatsApp.
I mean, all right, well, sounds good to me. I mean, I'll just be texting people, you know. But let's see what happens, all right? We want to know what you guys think as well. So don't forget that we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. So tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. We check it every single day. Like us on Facebook and send us ideas for programs or any photos or anything. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and the reports that we do daily. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. Follow us. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your feedback and do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahadio. We will be here same time, same place tomorrow, so please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.